All right. Why is this so far away? All right, let's see. So we got 2 people on. We're just gonna do a little review today, okay? And then next week we're gonna start our next topic. All right. So what I want to do right now, because the last assignment that we did was basically the brain pop. What's going on, Anthony? I just want to go over a few things, okay? So really quick. Don't worry, Brian. What do we call these boxes? What are those boxes called that helps us find out what our offspring or what parents' offspring's chances are? Punnett square. Perfect, right? So we got Punnett squares. Okay. And we got a little bit of a glare. That's all right, though. All right, so we got Punnett squares, okay? So now what happens is, how much does each of those boxes represent? Each box is worth how much percent? 25%, okay? So you can only have either 25 or actually starting out from 0. So you got 0, 25, 50, 75, and 100, okay? Now, after that, you're going to bring down your alleles, okay? So your alleles from the last one, that's whether you have so you can either have big B, big B, big B, lowercase b, lowercase b, lowercase b, okay? So let's say we're doing eyes, okay? So these alleles represent eyes with the B's. What's up, Jose? So let me move over to the other side. So I should write. So if we are talking about eyes, what's our dominant eye color? Most of the time. If we think of our own classroom, we're probably, what color do all you guys have? Or most of you have? When we talk about eye color, what's the most dominant? Brown, right? So we're talking about eyes. So brown eyes are dominant. So then blue eyes are what? Recessive, good. All right. So just make sure this isn't going to fall on my. Okay. All right, so perfect. So we got brown eyes dominant, blue eyes recessive. Dominant is always going to be shown, okay? So now we have 2 other things I just want to go over. So genotype. Do you guys remember what genotype is? And then I'm also going to write phen underneath it. So you got genotype and phenotype. Do you guys remember what genotype means? Yeah? So what do you think, Brian? What do you think genotype is? Let's do the genotype for you, okay? What color eyes you got, Brian? Good. Okay. So genotype is the actual gene that you have, all right? So we're going to use Brian as an example. He's got brown eyes, okay? So his genotype, all right, is either, let's say we're still using B's, okay? It's either big B, or it could be big B, and he could still have that recessive allele in there. But because he's got a bigger B, okay, he's still going to show those brown eyes. So the phenotype is the actual appearance, okay, that you are going to have. All right. So that's going to be your brown eyes. So when you actually go through this, right, you can have a bunch of different letters. So let's say we still have B's for the eyes. Then let's say we're talking about our hair color. Okay, we'll do H for hair. We'll say capital H is brown. All right. Then we'll do lowercase h, blonde. Okay. And then we go to the next one. Let's do another trait. Earlobes. All right. So you guys know how sometimes your earlobes are connected to the side of your head, or else sometimes you just have the actual earlobe that flaps. So we're going to put an E. And then a lowercase. All right. So flap, no flap. All right. So what happens is when you guys get all of your alleles from your parents, right? You're going to get a whole number. So your genotype, all right? So let's use Brian for this again. He's got brown eyes. So let's just say for this, he's got a dominant and a recessive gene, okay? So we got big B, little b. All right. Brian, what color eyes do you have? Or I'm sorry, you have brown eyes or brown hair, right? So let's say you got both the dominant, capital H's, okay? So these are all your geno. And then we got your phen, okay? So, Brian, also, do you have earlobe flaps that hang, or are they connected to the side of your head? What do you got? Flaps? Okay. So, flaps, we're going to put E and little a, just for that. Now, here's genotypes, right? So now for all of these, your phenotypes, what you physically look like, you're going to have, all right? We go to this. We look, you got a dominant. We know that capital B, that means you got brown eyes. You got two capital H's, that means you got brown hair. And then you got a capital E, so you have wow. So you actually have every dominant gene, okay, for an allele, because you always think gene, those are the genes that you're getting passed on. Your phenotype is the physical part of you that's going to get shown because of those genes. Does anyone have any questions so far? No? Okay. All right, so the other thing that we just got to go over really quick is All right. Homozygous and heterozygous. Okay. So homozygous, are you same or different with your alleles that are getting passed on? Homozygous. Same, right? So they're always going to be the same. Okay. Heterozygous is going to be same or different? Different. Okay. So that's basically all the terminology that you really need for this unit. If we were doing this in class, okay. Of course, we'd be doing a couple more labs with this. I'm going to try to find one and maybe get that to you guys over the weekend, but I'm having a little difficulty finding one online that I can bring over to Google Classroom. All right. So the other thing is, who came up with all this stuff when he was learning about heredity, when he was using the pea plants? Do you guys remember? It was in the Brain Pop video. It was also, all right, so Mendel, right? And he noticed that a lot of the recessive genes were carried over, okay? So what that means is he was using the pea plants, okay? We'll use another example. Let's say both of your parents had brown eyes, right? Brown eyes are dominant. But he found out that somehow, even though your parents, right, they have dominant genes, which will go back to our brown eyes, okay? They don't really show it, but they bring over the recessive, okay? So I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to show you guys really quick. So let's say we have big B, little b, big B, little b, okay? Let's say those are both your parents' alleles. Now, we know big B is going to give you brown eyes. Same over here. So if we brought everything across, we bring our big B down, little b, big B across, little b, okay? So we got two big B's, that's going to be brown eyes. Brown, and then blue, okay? So even though your parents both can have brown eyes, you can still have a 25% chance of being blue eyes, okay? So that's how he found out. Even though they have the dominant gene, if they both have a recessive, they can bring it down, okay? All right, so. Oh, yeah, Anthony was Regine Punnett. That's where you got the Punnett square name. Usually a lot of the stuff they use, it's all after themselves. All right, so before we go, or actually before I ask you guys questions, because it's a short day today, okay? I'm going to give you, we'll do two problems, okay? So, all right, if I erase this? I know it's a short day, Josue. We're just doing a quick overview. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a problem, okay? I'm going to say one of your parents, okay? We're going to say hetero for brown eyes and I should forget dominant. Let's do this one. Okay. So we got hetero for brown eyes. Okay. And then we got homozygous for recessive. And I'll even put this is mom and this is dad. Okay. So I want you guys to figure it out. You tell me, okay, what percent are they going to have brown eyes and what percent are they going to have blue eyes? Okay. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds. Just got to grab something really quick. All right, let's do this. Let's do mom's alleles first. So what genotype is she going to have at the top? All right, so we're saying hetero. So is that same or different? It's going to be different, right? So we know we have to have big B and we have to have little b. And then for dad, we have homozygous recessive. So we're going to have two lower cases because we're not dealing with the dominant gene. So now we got to bring them across. So I'm going to bring over dad's. And I'm going to bring down mom's. Okay. All right, perfect. So now we're stuck with this. So now remember, wherever there's an uppercase B, we're going to put brown eyes. We got brown, brown, blue, blue. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we got two of them. So we got 50% brown and 50% blue. Okay. So let's say they have one kid, brown eyes. Does that mean that there's only 3 boxes left that they can go, or does this Punnett square start over every time? Do we use the same Punnett square and it just starts over, or does it completely change? All right, good. All right, so I'm going to give you guys one more. Now, let's say, let's say their offspring is this person. Okay. Now, this person marries someone that is the same thing as them. Okay. So I want you guys to make another Punnett square. So their offspring, right? We don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but we just know their genes. Okay. So we're going to put big B, little b. And now we're going to say that they had an offspring with someone else with the same genotype. Okay. So we got big B and little b again. Okay. So now tell me what's the chances of brown and blue. Okay. All right, so I'll go across while you guys work on it, right? We got B, big B, big B. Bring it down, big B. Okay. Oop. Bring the other ones. Jeez. Okay. So every place where there's a big B, all right, so we got brown again. Brown and blue. So we're going to get 75% brown and 25% blue. Okay? Good. And then we could keep doing this, all right? Then let's say, all right, the offspring, somehow it was this person, okay? But then they married someone that had two big alleles, all right? And it keeps going down from there, all right? But basically, you can know what you are, all right, by some of the traits that you have, okay? So for me, since I have blue eyes, that's recessive. I know I'm two lowercase letters, okay? It can't be an uppercase B or else I'd have brown eyes. But since I have blue eyes, I know I have two lowercase, okay? If you have a dominant one, it's a little tough. So remember, we're talking about if we go back to Brian, right? He's got his brown eyes. We don't really know if he has two capital B's or big B, little b, okay? Because they would still show his brown eyes either way. It would only be if, down the line, if somehow you had a child that had blue eyes, then you would know, you must have had a recessive gene inside there, okay? Does that make sense? Get to the other side. All right, so that's basically what I wanted to do today, okay? I just wanted to show you guys some of the things. Remember, genotypes, first word in genotype is genes. That's when we're talking about your actual alleles, okay, that you get from your parents, all right? You don't really know exactly what you have, but if you have recessive traits, okay, so the only one that I can really say that I have lowercase for is the blue eyes, okay? If you have brown eyes, you're not sure if you have both dominant or a recessive allele in there, okay, until you start having kids, okay? Any questions? How you guys doing with the Google Classroom? Does anyone have any trouble getting into any of the files? No? Okay. Does anyone have any questions going forward? We're going to start our next topic for next week. No, just make sure you have all the other stuff in. All right. Jeffrey, we're going to do a quick thing on like mutations and viruses and stuff. I'm going to remember we were supposed to be doing the microscope, so I'm going to try to hold off. Maybe we can get into the classroom, but we'll see what happens. All right. So we're still going to be kind of talking about what happens when it gets passed on. Okay. But we're probably going to change it up a little bit, start getting to our bodies and our skeletal system. Okay. All right. But if you guys don't have any questions, we'll get back on Monday. Okay. 12 o'clock. All right. I'll see you guys later.